Good morning. My mom and I are here at the Park and Ride located off Bear Lake Road inside Rocky Mountain National Park. And we're waiting for the first bus to depart here at 6:30 a.m. We figured this was better than driving all the way up to Bear Lake. We got Dana driving us up to Bear Lake, and he's the one that turned us on to Ptarmigan Tarns last year. Yeah, he told us about that. We ended up hiking over there, and that was a great hike. Highly recommend Ptarmigan Tarns. Yeah, shout out to Dana, the bus driver. Awesome guy, giving us good information on where to hike. And we're up here, Bear Lake Trailhead. And today, we're gonna go for the Odessa Lake Loop. Basically where we hike it from Bear Lake down to Odessa Lake, and then from Odessa Lake we'll take it all the way down to the Fern Lake Trailhead, pick up the shuttle bus, and then ride that back up to the Park and Ride. So it shouldn't be too bad. I think we're looking at just under 10 miles total. Official start time, 6:50. And the first stop along the way is going to be right here at Bear Lake, which is looking amazing right now. Look at that reflection. And then right here, just past Bear Lake, is where the trail split is. And we're going to stay to the right. 4 miles over to Odessa Lake. All right, and we just knocked out that first little uphill gain. And now we're looking at about 3.6 more miles over to Odessa Lake. And we've got a little more uphill to do. But the good thing about this hike is that once you make it up to the base of Joe Mills Mountain and top out there at around 10,700, the rest of it's all downhill. And I think I get this shot every single time on the way up, looking over at Long's Peak, Pagoda, Chief's Head, and the Upper Glacier Gorge. And I think we're going to get the perfect weather today. It is beautiful so far. Look at that blue sky. And this is the perfect day for hiking. There's virtually no wind, nice blue skies. Yeah, this is going to be great. We should get some really awesome views from Odessa Lake down there. And we've been coming up this thing. I'd say the first mile and a half or so of this hike is pretty much all uphill. But I think we're getting ready to hit this corner right here. And then the trail flattens out quite a bit. It's really not too bad. And it looks like the snowfield has finally dried up. It has been replaced by little white flowers. We've already made it out to the first boulder field. So we're knocking this out. Like I said, as soon as we take it up to 10,700, that's where the trail tops out. And the rest of it's all downhill. About 40 yards past the sourdough campsite, you'll come up to the tree. Pop quiz, what does this signify? Time's up. 2 things. Number 1, you can take it off to the left and bushwhack it over to Marigold Pond. And number 2, this also signifies that you're almost at the top of the trail up here. Not much further to go at all. And this is a message for all the people out there who don't care about the beauty of the park, please don't scratch your name or other symbols into the trees. And if you have to smoke, pick your cigarette butts up. Carry them out with you. Don't just smash it into the trail and leave it there. I mean, how dumb are you people? How dumb are you? Pretty dumb. All right. And in an hour and 35 minutes, we've topped out on this trail back here. We're floating along at about 10,700. And this is also where the little social trail branches off. And you can hike it down to Two Rivers Lake. And that's going to be a body of water down there, not a rehabilitation center. And that's looking up at big old Notch Top right out there in front of us. And we are now on the downhill half of this hike. And the rest of this is going to be pretty relaxing. We are going to get a tiny bit of uphill at the very end when we got to hike it back up to the Fern Lake trailhead. But it is super minor. It's not steep at all. Yeah, it's really not that bad. I can't get over how nice of a day it is today. Beautiful weather. Passing by the trail that leads over to Lake Helene, and I'm not sure why they got that all blocked off. Do they not want people going to Lake Helene? And then, like I said, right up there is Notch Top. And we're getting ready to hit the corner here. And the trail really starts going downhill at that point. And this is one of the most epic sections of the trail on this hike. It's awesome along here. And we can see down to Odessa Lake now. And there's one thing that I gotta point out about Grace Falls is I thought we were at it when I did the video a couple weeks ago. However, we were like way up here somewhere and I don't even see those falls anymore. And the thing that was confusing me was on all the maps and everything, it shows Grace Falls way down here at like 10,200 and something. So I'm thinking we may have got that wrong. However, when I looked up Grace Falls and was doing research, every single image showed the falls that we were at. So that's why I thought we saw Grace Falls. However, it does sound like there is some kind of waterfall down there in the trees. One of the very few negative things about this hike is that the trail is a little rocky and it's a little rough. You got to pay attention to where you're walking, and you really can't go that fast on it. The more we hike down the trail, and the more that I keep looking behind us, trying to find that waterfall that we saw, I'm just not seeing it. It's almost like it's dried up, and it's not there anymore. And if that is true, and it's not there anymore, then that probably wasn't Grace Falls, which means I totally screwed up my other video. Yeah, because where we were at was like up over 10,600. However, where it shows it on all the maps is down around 10,200, which was like 400 feet lower. But like I said, all the pictures that I saw online show exactly where we were at. And one of the good things about this hike is that after you pass the Flat Top Mountain Trail Split, you're not going to see too many people until you get back down to Fern Lake and the lower part of the hike. But yeah, in this middle part, you'll see a handful of people, but not too many. If you want to take it down to Fern Lake, stay on the main trail. However, this is going to be the trail split that leads over to Odessa Lake. Right here. Coming down the hill, we're gonna hit a super hard left, pretty much a 180. And take it on over to Odessa Lake. And this little section of trail that leads over to the lake is beautiful. Almost out to the lake. Should be right up here. All right, we're out here. Odessa Lake. And this took us 2 hours and 35 minutes. Looks like the clouds showed up a little earlier than expected, but that's okay. And you know what time it is up here at Odessa Lake? It's tea time. Beautiful lake. This is a good one. And these morons over to the right of us just continue to throw rocks into the water the whole time we've been up here. Stupid people out here, I swear to God. Kerplunk. And not only are all the kids throwing rocks into the water, but check it out, the dad's doing it too. No wonder why the kids are so stupid. Look at them. Derp. And we can finally see back to where we thought Grace Falls was at. It's nothing but a wet spot on the rocks now. You can kind of see it just to the left of that little patch of snow. Yep, and the fact that it's all dried up pretty much confirms that that is not Grace Falls. Yeah, the maps show Grace Falls way down here, like 400 feet lower in the trees. So that's a bummer. That means I totally screwed that video up. I think they need to name those temporary Upper Grace Falls. It's about 10:05 right now, and we've been sitting up here at Odessa Lake for about 40 minutes or so. But it's time to go. It's time to head on back. And next on the agenda is that we're going to drop it down to Fern Lake. And we can see Fern Lake out there in front of us. And it's way down there. We've got quite a drop to do. There it is. I know I shouldn't let the low IQ of other people ruin my day, but some of these people out here have no common sense whatsoever. The stupidity is off the charts. I mean, they sat there for like 30 straight minutes and threw rocks into the water. And it wasn't just the dumb kids either. It was the parents too. I almost walked over, gave them one of my cards, and advised them to tune in here in about 3 weeks because they're going to make the video. But then I didn't. Yeah, originally I was just doing that little recording just to make myself feel better at the moment. However, I think I'm going to include it in the final cut now. It's a perfect example of what not to do. Don't be stupid. Just use that big melon sitting on top of your neck. And I kept randomly making comments loud enough that they could hear me, hoping that they would get the message to stop throwing rocks into the water. And they totally heard me. At one point, the dad looked over, gave me a big old smile, like, yeah, we're not stopping. Just stupid, stupid people. And then the kids looked over at another point and were like, we're trying to get our boat back. We had a boat out there and we're trying to get it back. First of all, what are you launching boats out onto the water for? Second of all, it wasn't even a boat. It was a log that they put out there. And that's looking down onto Fern Lake. And it looks like it's close, but it's really not. It takes a few minutes to actually get down there. And we got this marmot right here just off the trail, eating raspberries. And I guess that didn't take too long at all. We made it down to Fern Lake. And speaking about dumb people in Rocky Mountain National Park, a few years ago, my mom and I were up here at Fern Lake, and literally right past this sign that says Restoration Area Keep Off, there was a kid standing right down there fishing. It's like, I know kids these days can't read that well, but come on. Wasn't the fence a clue? We've hiked it around the north side of the lake, and we've got quite a few clouds out here today, which isn't doing much for the video. The coloring is kind of gray, not too bright. However, it's keeping it nice and cool out here. I was afraid the second half of this hike was going to get hot, but not today. We're hiking it down from Fern Lake. Over to my right somewhere is where Marguerite Falls is located. And we had hiked over there a couple years ago. Really not too impressive. However, next on the agenda is Fern Falls. And that one is impressive. This trail is a knee blower outer on the way down. My goodness. This thing is rough. And we've made it out to Fern Falls. We're not looking too good on time right now. It's like 11:15, and the thing is that the shuttle bus only comes around once every hour at 38 after. So I think if we ran down the rest of this thing and didn't stop at all, we might make the 12:38 bus. However, if we stop or do anything, I think we're going to miss it, and we're going to have to wait until the 1:38 bus. Yeah, if we just would have left down from Odessa Lake maybe 10 or 15 minutes earlier, we would have been looking a lot better. It's 11:23 right now, and I think we've decided to try and make it back by the 12:38 bus. And from that big corner where the trail starts going to the east, I think that took us 1 hour and 15 minutes last time, which is going to put us right at 12:38. So we're either going to barely make it or we're going to miss it by like 2 minutes. Passing by the pool. So we're getting back down there, but we got to step on it. And I'm breaking the first rule of hiking. Never split up the hiking group. Always stay together. But I'm pretty much running back on this Fern Lake Trail, trying to catch that 12:38 bus. And my mom was lagging behind. So I told her just to take it easy, enjoy the hike back while I run down there, get on the bus, and then I'll just drive back to the trailhead and pick her up. That'll be pretty easy. However, like I said, I don't like splitting up because if she trips or falls or gets injured, she's basically out here on her own. And I'm coming up to Roy Scheider Rock. I named it that because if you're gonna hike Jaws Falls, this is where you want to split off the trail, right here at this rock. Well, this hike could have gone a little better. Seems like that sun went away pretty early. We didn't get any good raspberries, and we had to deal with the family of knob ends there at Odessa Lake. I'm sorry, but those people were just straight up stupid, digging up rocks out of the shore to throw into the water. I mean, this is not your podunk little lake that you can take your four-wheeler to out in the country. That's Odessa Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. It needs to be treated with respect. It's just now 12 o'clock on the nose, and I've got about 1.1 more miles out to the bus stop. I think I can get that with ease. I think I can turn the afterburners off now and just start hiking normal. All right, made it back down to the Fern Lake Trailhead. It's just now 12:10. However, I've still got another 7/10 of a mile. And it only takes about 10 minutes to hike back down the Fern Lake Road, back to the Fern Lake winter parking area, which is also where the shuttle bus picks up. Yeah, I'm gonna make it back with plenty of time to spare. And I actually feel kind of bad now that I left my mom. I feel like she could have made this. Ooh, I think we got a snake right here. Hey, buddy. And there he goes. And that's like the third snake I've seen out here in Rocky Mountain National Park this year. I think I've seen a couple on that North Fork Trail. And then I just saw that one just now. Yeah, those are garter snakes. Supposedly, those are the only kind of snakes up in Rocky Mountain National Park. However, I have seen a rattlesnake before. I saw one over at Balanced Rock one time. So even though this bus departs at 38 after, they advise you to be down here by 30 after just to be safe. So I'm looking good. It's about 12:16 right now, and I'm almost there. All right, and I made it back to the Fern Lake winter parking area. And this is also where the shuttle bus picks up. I got back at 12:20, which means I was out here hiking for 5.5 hours. And I believe that entire hike is just under 10 miles. And here comes my mom. She made it. Nice. And she was only about 7 minutes behind me. And I was trucking too. I was flying down that trail. Nice job. All right, Odessa Lake back in time for the shuttle bus.
Boom.
Boom. And we're on the bus, taking it back up to the park and ride. And we made it back to the parking ride. And this place is full of cars. Holy moly. Where did we even park? Oh, over here, I see it. Well, we hope you enjoyed that hike. And until the next one, y'all, peace.